You voted against your friend. You voted against your friend's rights. You voted against your friend's health care. You voted against your friend's livelihood in America. You voted against your friend's family members. You voted against everything that they're actively stripping away from each and every American right now. So guess what? You were never friends because you were never a true friend. Yeah, for us, it's about finding out that people that we cared and loved for so long are morally empty and the biggest pieces of shit right now in America. And if any other morally empty MAGA piece of shit comes across this, I hope it helps. Do better as a human, and you might not lose so many friends and family members. And the rest of y'all, have a good day now.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. Most white folks or white conservative farmers are turning against the same administration they voted for. Now, most of these farmers wanted to punish other races. They went to vote for policies that are not now working for them. Donald Trump has betrayed them, both economically, socially, and politically. Now, will the black community join the struggle and help them fight against the oppression they are seeing right now? Let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Can we just talk for a minute about the Arkansas soybean farmers? Arkansas voted 2/3 for Trump. Trump had promised to implement tariffs. Trump then implemented those tariffs. China has retaliated, and because our soybeans, the tariff war made our soybeans too expensive. They decided to buy their soybeans from Brazil, signed 20-year contracts with Brazil, and now for a generation, the Arkansas soybean farmers are screwed because they lost their biggest soybean customer. And they are demanding compensation. Demanding. I mean, I almost admire it. I almost admire the audacity. But they said they don't really like taking government handouts, but they really don't have a choice. And they are demanding that we compensate.
Every day when I watch these fake Christians, these modern day Pharisees, they're so nasty, they're so vile, they're so morally repulsive on social media. They say the nastiest, most hateful, ignorant, stupid things every single day. And they always have a scripture in their bio, right? Love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love does not boast. By your fruits shall you be judged. So Jesus chose a convicted felon who sexually abuses women, who performs oral sex on a microphone, who calls Puerto Rico garbage, who demonizes immigrants, who didn't rent to black people, who has dinner with Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist, who's working with Elon Musk, who give the Yahtzee salute, who stole from cancer charities, who's such a piece of shit that on his third failed marriage, hey, I thought marriage was between one man and one woman. Oh, he gets a pass because he's a Republican. Nobody's perfect, Paul. Don't judge. Yeah, shut up. He made a promise before God, his wife, and his wife's family. He says, I will love you for better or for worse. And what does he do? While his wife is at home with their 2-week-old son. The guy that says, I can't tell you what my favorite book in the Bible is because it's too personal. He has unprotected sex with a porn star in Las Vegas. But you're so stupid. You're so ignorant, so uneducated, such a whiny little bitch of a white victim that you think that that guy somehow gives two shits about you. Oh, I didn't know I was going to lose my job. That's not... Yeah. Who knew that a convicted felon who can't even keep his marriage vows wasn't going to be honest with you? If only we knew. But it's all fake, right? Cancer charities, that's fake news. Sexual abuse, that's all made up. Asking for 11,000 votes in Georgia, oh, that's all made up. That's all fake news. Elon Musk, no, he didn't really do what you saw on TV. None of it's real. Everything you saw, ignore it. Felons, oh, no. That's George Soros and the radical left. Oh, that's not what he said. Let me explain to you with my dumbass compass here, my translator, what he actually meant. Oh wait, I have to defend him because I'm a dumbass. But praise Jesus, right? And then the kicker that really gets me is you think that God stood up there, up in heaven on his throne, and watched the Holocaust and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and hundreds of years of slavery and Stalin and Benito Mussolini and the Mustache Man in Germany and all the school shootings across this country. Over 40,000 people a year. Hiroshima, God did nothing, just sat on his ass, right? Oh, but Donald Trump, the man who sexually abuses women, who's a disgusting piece of shit. God goes, oh, that's the guy I want because he is a shining light of my love and compassion and forgiveness and empathy. This is what we're dealing with, America. These are the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. And these people really believe this shit. They are mentally gone. They want the Confederacy. They want segregation. They want white Christian America. And they cherry pick the scripture every goddamn day. Do you eat pork? Do you eat shellfish? Do you shave your beard? Do you have tattoos? Did you know that in Leviticus, it says if a man lies with another man's wife, the penalty is to be unalived? Don't you believe the Bible? So why don't... I'm just asking. It's a question, TikTok. Why aren't you living by that? Oh, that's not what it meant, right? Let me look back to my bullshit compass here. Let me translate what they actually meant 2,000 years ago, even though I wasn't there. What it means is that you want to pick certain parts of the Bible that pushes your bullshit religion, that allows you to play God instead of judge God. Because today's evangelical movement, why they go to church on Sunday with their Joe and the whole bumper stickers and their F Joe Biden flags, and while their kids read out of a Bible where Noah has sex with his daughters in a cave, that's not indoctrination, but a gay pride flag is, right? 12 transgenders, that's a bridge too far. But if you sexually assault women, you should be president because that's what Jesus wants. You gotta love America, don't you? Oh yeah, praise Jesus. Have a good weekend.
Check out how Trump's policies are destroying these red state farmers who voted for him, and we're going to be right back.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
You said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love. 5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm.
After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
So my son will not be the 7th generation on our farm.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
Now, a lot of my liberal followers are understandably, justifiably like, well, F around and find out. But that's a little too simple for my journalistic standards. There's something deeper going on here. Because if you have a historical understanding of how propaganda works on the human mind, I think everybody who's getting messed over by these Trump policies in red states who voted for him needs to start by suing right-wing media companies for radicalizing them into doing things that are against their best interests and echo chambering them out of the information that could have them more critical about his policies. I'll reiterate, if you ain't got the bandwidth to feel nothing for these people after what they done, I feel you. But low-key, high-key, this is tragic, yo. Because even as late as May, a survey by the Purdue company of like 400 farmers showed that 70% of them still believe that Trump's tariff is going to have some kind of positive benefit for them. Remember that slew of executive orders that Donald Trump was just signing earlier on in the year? Well, it caused so much bureaucratic instability that it made the USDA pause funding for over 30,000 farmers in the United States. That was strike one. Strike two for the farmers was when Doge came in and gutted USAID. Everybody was like, oh, that's just a front for the CIA across the world. Maybe, but also it created automatic buyers all across the world for American grown wheat and corn and anything that could bridge the gap for starvation. That's gone. Strike three was the deportations. These farmers literally voted for Trump to steal their workers and wonder why ain't no work getting done when all of these compounding factors are crushing them. Strike four, which is more than you're supposed to have, is what? The dude said it. The tariffs. He said it's the icing on the cake. We tried to tell y'all that it's Americans who pay the tariffs. Y'all didn't listen, so listen to these farmers. You know what's ironic? A lot of these farmers were dead silent or complicit in black farmers getting screwed over for decades by not only their peers, but by the USDA. So bad that they had to win lawsuit after lawsuit in the billions of dollars to get claims and damages done. And still the USDA was slow with paying them out. Had they not been so racist, they'd have had a larger coalition to argue for what they need. And what's even deeper is that a lot of these farmers' ancestors were given this land in the Homesteading Act of 1862, when freshly stolen land from Native Americans was given to European peasants for pennies on the dollar. We're talking about 1/10 of the U.S. landmass. The term chickens coming home to roost is a farming colloquialism that applies here with a ruthless poetic irony. I can't even really get myself to celebrate over this because I'm looking at how the sins of the father cascade down to the generations, how these farmers inherited not only land, but a culture from their forebearers that allowed them to be prime targets for propaganda like this. The only positive way that I could look at this is possibly a new beginning in disguise. Because if we're gonna have an America that works for everybody, it's gonna take these folks getting disappointed in this way to let this all burn down, metaphorically speaking, and plant new seeds for the future. That's just my take on it. What y'all feel? My name is Theo E.J. Wilson. Like, follow, and share this message out if you feel it.
This is Muskonomics, this libertarian, cut all social services. We're so smart. We're going to fix everything. And now the United States of America is bailing out Argentina, and you have people whose social services have been cut. And it seems like every single time I turn around pumps, this administration puts Israel first, and it puts Argentina first. And you have a bunch of Americans who voted for this man, who live in rural America, that they voted for him because they think he loves the country and he thought he was going to help them. And he lied to them. He lied his ass off to these people. They were nothing but a transactional vote for him. Meanwhile, their hardworking dollars are going to Israel to kill kids and to Argentina because they elected a dipshit.
Well, and it just, all we hear about is that rural hospitals are closing. Younger people can't buy a house. We've got people on social services because they work full time, but the minimum wage is so low. And I look at this and I think, if we don't have money to fund education or hospitals or Social Security, we're taking money that people put into the government and we're saying they can't have it back, then why the fuck? Where are you getting the money to bail out a foreign country? If you can't help your own citizens, why are you doing it to other people? And then I think it's because they don't give a shit. They don't care.
Yes. And Kylie, put up the Midas Touch tweet. MAGA told us over and over again that Milei was bringing prosperity to Argentina. They used MAGA propaganda machine to highlight his austerity politics as a model for the U.S. Now that the outcome has been devastating, they are making the United States bail out their failed experiment. End wokeness in 2023 when Milei was running for president. All he had to do was stand next to a "Don't Tread on Me" flag, because that hits hard in MAGA. And End Wokeness tweets, holy shit, Argentina just elected Javier Milei as their next president. History has been made today. And Elon Musk says prosperity is ahead for Argentina. We're 2 years, a year and a half behind them right now, you guys. Elon Musk went into the federal government and they did this exact same thing. The big, beautiful bill is this exact same thing. So then that leaves me the question, who's going to bail us out? Because last time I checked, everybody hated us because Kanks is so unlikable.
Right. I mean, no one's going to bail us out. They're going to celebrate the fall of the United States. And Trump, we are the 7th bankruptcy that he had. I mean, look at the dollar. Look at all the financial indicators. You're right. We are 2 years away from this if we make it there.
Who is thinking about leaving MAGA, or maybe you have already left MAGA, listen up. Keep watching, because there's something I need you all to understand. If that's not you, you can keep scrolling. The other day, I saw a girl come on here on TikTok and say that she messed up and that she's sorry and she regrets what she did. She listed out reasons for why she kept voting the way that she did, and now she regrets it. And one can only assume that it's because it eventually, the passing of the bill probably affected her. She said she was a single mom, so one can only assume. And while this is great that she went out on a public platform to apologize and recognize where she fell short, what got me, or what frustrated me, was at the end of the video, she was saying, if people are coming at me with hate in the comments, well, then you're just a part of the problem, because we all have to be on the same page. And while I understand this sentiment, right, like at the end of the day, we do have to be a united front, but here's the issue with that statement or that reasoning. The way that MAGA has voted is actively causing harm and irreversible damage. The time to say we need to be a united front and own up to your mistakes was after the first time that he got voted in. At this point, it's too little, too late. So to expect the people whose families are being torn apart, whose businesses are falling apart, whose healthcare is getting taken away from them, any level of support, to expect those people to forgive you despite the fact that people are going to lose their lives there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. People are going to lose their lives. So to expect people to forgive you despite this fact, it is centering your own comfort, and it's not actually doing the work of reconciliation. Because here's the thing, you have broken the trust.
So yes, does he want policies to sway his way because he's a person that's in business? Yes. But
more like a con artist. I mean, he's a failed businessman. He had 6 bankruptcies.
Every politician's a con artist. That's how they got there. So let's be honest. Okay. But anyway,
what is a con artist?
A con artist would be an actual criminal. So I would say a manipulator.
Oh, so a convicted felon?
Sure, but they convicted him. So, I'm a convicted felon. Does that mean that I'm not qualified? Am I not qualified to have a debate or be in this conversation?
Well, I never said it's not qualified to be in the conversation. I'm just saying that, you said being a criminal was...
Thanks to Trump's tariffs, more farmers than ever are going bankrupt because they can't afford the machines used to do their job. Because of the tariffs, the red states are closing their stores because the goddamn the prices are so high, people don't want to pay it. Everything he said was a lie. This man was so desperate to be reelected to avoid prison, he lied his ass off. What a surprise, people. Donald Trump has been known to be a pathological liar. He is literally the worst candidate for president we could have ever put in the Oval Office. And we are paying for it with our lives and our pockets. But this man is living in complete luxury while we're suffering. Yeah. I hope you learned your lesson.
I don't know what to do. My daughter's father has been in America for almost 10 years. He has done everything the right way, trying to come here from Venezuela with his mom. He graduated high school here, he goes to college, he's always worked, he pays taxes, he's never committed a crime. And yet, they are being denied citizenship here in America, and they are at risk of being deported. But more importantly, there's gotta be someone who can help, because how am I supposed to explain to my 3-year-old that her dad might have to leave and she may never see him again? He has loved her. He has loved my son, who is not even his, and taken him in. He has provided for her. I can't explain to you guys how urgent this is. And I don't know who needs to hear this. I know I need prayers for him. and for me and for my daughter and for his mom. But more importantly, there's gotta be someone who can help, because this is not fair at all. This is so unfair. And he doesn't deserve it. He is a 24-year-old who's been trying for 10 years to have a good life here. I just ask you guys to please pray and to please just give me any resources that anyone has. Please, I'm begging you. This is not right.
Oh my God, girl, I have the perfect person you can call. Better yet, it's a duo. The Felon and the Hillbilly. What's that in the corner? Oh, that's your name. Oh, because you reposted this. Yeah, that's right, Faith. You reposted this along with a bunch of other MAGA content. And now, the father of your kids is being deported even though he has been trying to get citizenship in this country for the past 10 years. So call them. Because you voted for them, so obviously you put your faith in them. The thing is, Faith, I have a very hard time having sympathy for people who are getting exactly what they voted for. You sat there crying and begging for someone to help you, and all I can do, because I'm running out, man. I am running fucking dry. Is let you know that you can call 911 Daddy Trump and ask him not to deport the father of your children. Or better yet, you could push your Republican legislators to maybe pass a faster path to citizenship within Congress, but they won't. Have a nice day. My name is Mercedes. Have the day you voted for. My name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow, or you want to see my face again. Thank you, goodbye. And guys, I'm running out. Like, the sympathy, the empathy for these fuckers, it's running dry. I'm sorry. I used to be nice. We're losing it. Bye.
Faith Ann is asking for our help and our prayers. Should we give it to her? I don't think so. Let's meet Faith Ann. Now, Faith Ann is a Trump supporter. She has a baby's dad. She has a 3-year-old. And guess what? Her baby's dad is up for deportation. And Faith Ann wants us to help and pray for her. I think Faith Ann has got us fucked up. Faith Ann, you're going to have to live with your decisions. You're going to have to tell your sweet little daughter that you helped send her daddy away. Now, you have an option of packing your shit with your daughter and going to Venezuela with your boyfriend. Now, if you don't want to take that, you could just stay here in America with Donald Trump, the person you voted for, and fuck off.
You know, this is going to sound harsh, but honestly, I don't care at this point anymore, because you only care that it's affecting your family. You didn't care when it was affecting other families. I think it should be fair across the board for everyone, not just for some, like you think you're the exception, because you're not. And I'm sorry it's happening, but you voted for this. Your reposts give you away. They do. I don't know what you want us to tell you. Biden literally gave Venezuelans asylum. And what is Trump against? Anything that Biden did. Maybe write a letter to the president. Let's demand for an immigration reform. But that's not the priority. The priority is funding CBP and ICE, not USCIS. I don't know what you want.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. White conservative farmers are turning their backs against the president of the United States, Donald Trump, and his administration. Now, most of them, they believe whatever has been termed as betrayal, because some 8 months ago, they went to the ballots and they voted MAGA. Now, they supported Donald Trump willingly because of the things or the policies that he stood for and whatever he had promised he was going to bring. Now, their shift in loyalty and their new calls for unity with Black Americans can be explained through a combination of economic struggles, political disappointments, and social realities. We all know that some 8 months ago, they were MAGAs and they really wanted to see Donald Trump in power, and the policies he was advocating for working for them. They were Trumpers. Now, what happened? Now, we all know that there are broken promises, broken promises that Donald Trump gave while he was ascending to power. And these can be regarded as those that he gave that were very fundamental to the economy. And now see how things are turning out in the US. Now, we have trade wars and tariffs, which are hitting the farmers so hard. Now, Trump's trade war with China hit farmers the hardest because, soybeans farmers, especially those from these red states, did really depend on China to sell their soybeans and other agricultural products. Now, China was the largest buyer of soybeans, pork, and the other crops when Beijing retaliated with tariffs after Donald Trump hit them with some. Now, American farmers started losing billions in exports and many went bankrupt. And this is the whole situation in the US at the moment. Now, after going bankrupt, initially or previously, the United States government used to bail out farmers. But that's not whatever is happening right now, because Donald Trump did really promise that when elected to be the president, he will be bailing out farmers whenever they went bankrupt. But now see, empty bailouts in the Trump's administration. Although Trump has introduced farm aid packages to compensate for the trade war. Now, most of that money went to the largest agribusinesses, not to the small workers. That's whatever you should all know. Not small farmers really got the compensation that Trump was talking about. Now, the bailouts came to the big farmers, to the big fish, leaving out those farmers who went and support him, those who voted for him. And this is not sitting well with majority of them. The bankruptcy crisis is hitting farmers so hard in the US right now, that farm bankruptcies reached record highs under Trump's administration or tenure. Now, equipment costs rose, loans piled up, and profits shrank, leaving many farmers financially destroyed. This is whatever I'm talking about. Most of the farmers are now bankrupt. From Nebraska, from Texas, California, many of these states are now finding it out very hard. The fact that so many things have happened in the US, we've had presidents in the US, we've had many other administrations in the US, but this has been the record high number of bankruptcies ever recorded in the US by farmers. Now, brothers and sisters, we say sometimes racism is very expensive. When you go to the ballot to vote to punish another group of people, it might turn out you're punishing yourself. And that's whatever happened with most of the farmers and those who went to vote for the same administration. They thought they were going to punish the black community, the brown community, and others. But now it is turning out that they did dig a grave, but they forgot theirs. Most of the times they say when you dig a grave, make sure you dig two, because sometimes it might backfire to whoever you are digging a grave for. Then you'll have to go to the same grave. So be very careful with the conditions you're setting. Be very careful how you vote. Be very careful how you make your decisions and how you expect policies to be implemented. You might vote for a policy, or you might vote for a promise that was made by a politician. But have you taken your time to evaluate the promise? Do you even know it is going to work for you or going to work for someone else? Now, if you're voting to punish someone else, make sure that the punishment is not severe if it were done to you. This is whatever most of the people voted for. Now, see, it has turned out to be very, very chaotic at the moment. White conservative farmers are now crying out to everyone. They now need bailouts. They can't get bailouts. They are now going bankruptcy and no one can save them. Loans have piled up. Crops are going bad, and they are now trying to lure the black community to come and help them save the little crops that are remaining in their farms. But the black community is trying to mind their business. Do you really think that after voting for something that has flopped, they voted for the deportation of the black people to see them suffer, but it has flopped? Now, instead, those who have been deported are the ones who really helped them in the farms. Look at those Latinos, look at those immigrants who used to go and work in the farms, have been taken out by the ICE rate. Same thing they voted for. They are now coming out to cry. I've always known that the rural myth of Trump as a savior, most farmers who want the slogan "Make America Great Again" to work, think that that term only and that Trump will protect them from foreign competition. Now, instead, they are now realizing that his policies favored corporations and Wall Street over family. Now, farmers have discovered that Trump's focus was more on political showmanship than solving the real challenges that face them and the people at the smallest or at the lowest side. That they have real challenges like drought, rising cost of seeds and fertilizers. Now, healthcare shortages in rural areas and shrinking markets is a very common thing. So they voted to make America great again. They thought that Trump will make them or was going to destroy others to make America great again, that he was going to take down other races so that they will remain lonely at the top. See whatever is happening at the moment. The sense of betrayal now is running deep because most of them voted for Trump massively, thinking that their numbers was going to make America great and that America will survive. America was going to survive and they were going to feel better in an economy where a man who is considered a savior is the president. Now, see the climate change that is being ignored by the Donald Trump. I recently heard him talking about climate change in the UN summit, and he said it's a long con. Now, let's see. Climate change is real. It's affecting farmers. If you have a president in office who cannot acknowledge that global warming is real, that climate change is real, who can't see? Even a 2-year-old born child can testify that there is changes indeed in the climate. If you've lived 10 years in this world, you already know, you've already seen how the weather is changing, the weather patterns are changing, and the climate is changing. This affects farmers. But you have a president who is ignoring all this. He has created a fallacy that this is a long con game, that climate change is not real and all those other stories. Farmers are facing droughts, floods, and unpredictable weather patterns that devastate crops. Many expected Trump to address this crisis seriously after he ascends to power. But his denial of climate change and rollbacks on environmental protections left them unprepared. Just as I'm saying that Trump is living in denial of climate change. Now, the people who voted him are being hit by climate change and global warming. Their crops need to be saved from drought. They need to be saved from floods. But the president, who is leading an administration which should be doing that, doesn't believe that there is climate change, doesn't believe that all these things are existing. Now, let's not forget that Donald Trump is one man who believes he's always right. I'm not saying it in a bad way. That Donald Trump's he doesn't take challenge well. He has never taken challenge well. You can always see when someone tries to correct him, how he reacts to all that. That's the man we are talking about here. Now, this lack of concern for their survival forced farmers to rethink whether Trump truly valued rural America or simply used them for votes. And we all know whatever he did, using them for votes and it's the same way Trump used to say that black Americans built the United States of America. He acknowledges that during campaigns, but he cannot acknowledge that when he is the president of the US. You know the two contradicting stories of a man full of doublespeak, that they speak this and later on when they have power, they can control everything. They talk about something else. Now, that's whatever exactly I'm talking about. Now, most black farmers are now doing better because, they have been in this situation before. They have never received bailouts. And sometimes it is even hard for them to get loans they have applied for. So these are situations they are used to. And this is why we see the white farmers are now developing a dependence on black labor and markets. Some of them are even asking the black farmers to unite with them. Now, historically, U.S. agriculture has rallied heavily on black labor. No doubt. During from the time of slavery, when black people used to work for them. And without a penny they received for all these years. Now, the black community has been very, very strong, and it has indeed, and I repeat, it has indeed suffered and endured a lot. Now, they have the experience with time on how Donald Trump is working and how these biased governments have been working. As a matter of fact, there is no US government that has worked for the black community. And the white farmers are feeling like they have a shared struggle because they are going through a lot right now. Black folks have been going through a lot the whole of their lives. For this reason, they're asking for unity with the black community. Do you really think they're being genuine to themselves, or they're being disingenuous to the black community and to themselves? Are they lying to themselves that they can cope up and unite with the black community, or are they trying to use the black community just as their governments have been trying to use them for the longest time? Let me know whatever you think of this video in the comment section. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking. Thank you so much. See you in our next episode.